Now, Anthony Albanese has praised cricketer Usman Khawaja's so-called peace stance during a New Year's Day reception at Kirribilli House.
I do want to acknowledge lastly as well your opening partner, Usman Khawaja, for the courage that he has shown in standing up for human values is what he has done, and it has shown courage in the fact that the team has backed him in as well.
Now, the opening batsman was sanctioned during the Perth Test for wearing a black armband that wasn't approved by the governing body and has been banned from displaying a dove sticker on his bat. However, Cricket Australia says it will allow him to use the symbol if he plays in the BBL this summer. James, no bigger endorsement than the Prime Minister himself. What do you make of this praise?
I think if I'm Usman Khawaja, I'm telling Albanese, you're not helping. With Albanese's track record on social issues, we're going to somehow lose the Pakistan series on a technicality. I think that's what we're up against. But for Usman Khawaja, I also think there's an element of, if this means so much to you, do it. I just think you've done the black armband. Under ICC regulations, even if he does it 4 times in 12 months, these little protests, it's still only the fine of a 75% of a match fee. He doesn't get suspended. Cricket Australia doesn't lose points in the cricket standings and stuff. So if that's the punishment and it means this much to you, go out tomorrow with a dove sticker. And if there is a fine, you'd think Australian cricketers are doing so well, they can get Alinta Energy they can tell them to get stuffed. You would have thought other cricketers could rally around and help Usman Khawaja pay a fine if they're his teammates and if they're supporting him on this journey. I don't understand why Usman just doesn't do it.
I've got to understand. I don't understand how cricket's various governing bodies, and there seems to be more and more of them every time you look at an issue like this, they seem to multiply, have just made this such a ridiculously convoluted issue. I think it is, everyone knows my stance on the conflict, obviously. I don't believe in this ridiculous left post-truth narrative that, Israel is a colonising state that has no right to be in the homeland of the Jewish people for thousands and thousands of years.
Thanks for pointing that out.
But again, I think a couple of things. One is that I think if you're Muslim and if you come from that part of the world, or your family comes from that part of the world, or have been, you've got community leaders, maybe family members, always, saying that, the Israelis are the problem and you're the poor victims and everything. It's a bit like the sort of Catholics and the Protestants in Northern Ireland. Like, you are going to naturally have a tribal sort of position on it that I have no difficulty understanding. It's more the crazy sort of progressive Marxist, university graduates, white university graduates who suddenly decide that Israel's evil and everyone else is pure as the driven snow. And also, I don't think Usman Khawaja has gone out to be militant or aggressive or divisive about this. He's sought permission every step of the way, I believe. The black armband was the only tiny minor breach, and it's pretty hard. From the river to the sea, that is arguably a call for genocide. I don't really see how the dove is...
Maybe not the dove. I think in some of his statements where he said all lives matter and things like that, yeah. I do think that if it was another sort of social cause that, all lives matter when it comes to Black Lives Matter,
that's
people
right.
would arc about it. When it involves Jews, it's a bit different. But look, I want to get both of your thoughts on this. What do you think? I don't care about your New Year's resolution so much. I'm sure you're sticking to them. But what do you think the Prime Minister's New Year's resolution
I think, obviously for so many people, their New Year's resolution is always travel more. I think his has got to be travel less. I think that was the 2023 Albanese, seeing the world, having the sights, taking the photos. 2024, travel less.
I love it. How about you, Joe?
Look, my favourite saying in politics, at least today, is John Howard made every single mistake you can make as Prime Minister, but he only ever made them once. And so my hope and prayer would be that Anthony Albanese looks back at the big mistakes that have happened this year under his watch, be they his or others, and thinks, right, I'm going to make sure that I do not let something like that happen again. If he does that, it could be one of the best governments in Australia.
He needs to take accountability for them first, though, like the voice lost, doesn't he?
Well, let's see how Australia does playing against Pakistan to see how much of the Prime Minister's voodoo was put on that.